Bristol City will be hoping to start a playoff challenge in the 23-24 season, and already a few clubs have the financial advantage over them or just have better players in general over Bristol City. But who are a few clubs who maybe don't have the financial resources, who maybe don't have the better players, but still are competent enough in terms of ownership and maybe a good coach to go there and push ahead of Bristol City? Here are three main teams I've picked out, either coming from League One or just finishing nowhere near the playoffs last season in the Championship, who I think could make a real push for the playoffs this season. Now, the first team actually finished one place below Bristol City in 15th, and that is Hull last season, who were an absolute wild card, really, last season, starting off as Shota Alvarez, spending a lot of money in the summer window, even recruiting in January. That ultimately didn't work out for Shota Alvarez, so he was fired after a consecutive run of defeats. Liam Rosenior was brought in after he left Derby County in League One, and since then it's seemed to click. It seemed to evolve from a more tactically unresolved team into a more progressive ball playing team, but also rather steady at the back. A lot of draws in there, but mainly they improved quite a lot, and Liam Rosenior took them into 15th and guided them comfortably away from the relegation zone. Liam Rosenior is a very, very intelligent coach. He's very talented. He was highly rated at Derby, second in command to Wayne Rooney in the Championship, but also in his short stint in League One was really impressive. He is also now going to be heavily backed by Akun Ilachali, the Hull City owner, who made huge investments in the last two windows, so I don't see it being much different in this window unless FFP comes into it, but I doubt that. And this year the recruitment will be far less scattergun than it was under Shota Alvarez, and I expect it to be much better as well. I think it'll be more tailor-made for what Liam Rosenior wants, and that ultimately I think is going to be a recipe for success with the good squad they already have at the moment. And a lot of Championship quality players, even some who are very, very good at this level, including Jean-Michel Seri, Jacob Greaves. A few positions they need to fill, i.e. goalkeeper. Carl Darlow's left to go back to Newcastle. It seems at this moment in time, it's unlikely they'll get him back on a permanent or even on the loan deal. So they're going to have to make some investments. But if the recruitment is tailor-made for what Liam Rosenior wants, I believe Hull City will be a massive problem for many Championship clubs next season. Now, the second team is a very, very weird one, but I believe, just purely based on the squad and the manager they have at this moment in time, have massive scope for improvement. They finished 9th in the Championship last season. They were 3 points off the playoffs. That is obviously West Bromwich Albion, led by Carlos Cobron in the dugout. He's a very, very talented coach, did miracles at Huddersfield, taking them to the playoff final, finishing third, lost 1-0 in the final to Nottingham Forest. So he's a very talented coach. He massively improved West Brom last season, and on the basis of it, on the face of it, on paper, they have a really, really good squad. Likes of John Swift, like of Okayas Kuzlu, Jed Wallace, Brandon Thomas Asante, some really, really good players in there, some really top quality Championship players. And most of them actually achieved promotion under Slaven Bilic in the 1920 season. So, look, there is definite quality in there, but under Ishmael, under Bruce, and, caretaker managers, they've massively failed in the last 2 years, not even getting to the playoffs in either of those. So there is massive rebuild project needed, but obviously the elephant in the room with West Brom is the ownership problems, so that makes them a very fragile club, so any moment it could go wrong, i.e. points deductions. The ownership problems are just a complete mess there. I think by far the worst right now in the EFL after Birmingham City's sale. So, look, there is definite scope for improvement on the basis of the squad. It is a top quality Championship squad. There are some incredible players in there for this division. It hasn't managed to click under Ishmael and Bruce. Corbron, it clicked towards the back end of last season. The second half of last season, massively brilliant. It was brilliant. Clean sheets, wins, very tight margins, but they got into the playoffs. They dropped out of it in the end and kind of fell at the final hurdle. But under Corbron, they were a playoff team. And if he can replicate that, he'll get them into the playoffs. But the massive problem is they are owned by people who are not very competent at the moment. So, massive scope for improvement at West Brom. I think they probably will improve. I think if Corbron is effectively working and smart enough, he'll shun the noise coming from outside the football club. He'll treat the players well, and if he does that, I think West Brom can massively improve, because certainly now, under Corbron, they've bought his ideas, where previously under Ishbel and Bruce, it was probably more pragmatic, it was not as free-flowing. Under Corbron, it's much more methodical, it's far better to watch, and I think the players are buying into that, and if they can buy into it for the whole of the season, they will be certainly up there challenging. Ipswich last season under Kieran McKenna were an absolute force to be reckoned with. They finished second with 98 points and stormed through League One with ease, really. And I think they'll be able to make that jump up to the Championship rather easily too. They've got a lot of players who've played in the Championship before and played rather well in this division. E.g. Sam Morsey and Connor Chaplin, who've both done really well in this division, but previously at different clubs. And they've also got a really, really talented coach in Kieran McKenna, whose methodology of possession-based football can translate really easily into the Championship. And I've got evidence of that in the past. We've got Sunderland under Alex Neil and Tony Mowbray, who both used those players and played really attractive brand of football. And Sunderland finished 6th. Luton under Nathan Jones were not as pretty on the eye, but still rather good footballing side, and finished 19th and then 12th, and then got into the playoffs twice, and now in the Premier League. Coventry, again, Mark Robbins, really good possession-based football, high in energy as well, wing-backs pushing up. There is evidence that Ipswich, as long as they play good football, which will obviously happen under Kieran McKenna, can push. They've also got heavy investment behind them, with Game Changer as their ownership model. They've also got Bush City fan favourite Mark Ashton as their CEO. So look, this is going to be a really exciting season for Ipswich, as long as they recruit on the right departments, and similar to Hull really, as long as they make a squad that's tailor-made to Kieran McKenna's needs and his ideology, then Ipswich should be comfortably, I reckon, pushing for the top half next season, and that, in my eyes, is a really, really good success for a League One club who, realistically, in other seasons would maybe not be in 12th, because this is a really competitive Championship season, and maybe they won't do a Sunderland and push for the playoffs straight away and get into those playoffs, but if they can get anywhere near the top half, that would be certainly a good achievement under Kieran McKenna. So that's it. Those are my 3 teams who I believe will be pushing for the playoffs at least next season. And those are Hull, West Brom and Ipswich. Let me know your 3 in the comment section down below. I've talked about Ipswich, who competed in League One last year. I've also made a video of 5 players who I've picked out from League One, who I believe Bush City could target in the window this season, as I believe they can make the step up from League One to the Championship. So that'll be on screen right now. Thank you guys very much for watching. Keep safe, and I'll catch you all later. Cheers.